Hello and welcome back to Suspended Fanimation. I'm your host, Dennis Bithoulkas, and it's time for Andor Season 1, Episode 5, The Axe Forgets. Welcome, everybody. Let me take care of some business first, and we'll get down to it. If you like what you see here, like, share, and subscribe. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the video that pops up at the very end here. YouTube takes the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching and tries to match it as best as possible to one of the videos in my vast video library and pops up here just for you. And if you like what you see there, hit that subscribe button down there if you can, please. And also, if you can, hit that like button, the share button as well. And if you feel lucky or feel like gambling, you hit that bell down below, and YouTube may or may not notify you when I come on live. Best thing to do is go over to suspendedfanimation.com. Take a look at the schedule I have. I change it out every week. Also, I have all the links to my social media there and all the links to my pages as well. All right, let's get started, shall we? Spoiler alert, I am going to spoil the episode. If you have not seen the episode, go and watch it. Come on back. This will be a video you can comment down below in the comment section. All right, I'm giving you time to hit pause. All right. So first off, I want to say, so I've been reading, reviews here and there of Andor, the last couple of weeks that's been out, and there's been quite a few places where they've been calling it the adult Star Wars, if you will, and if I think that's a polite way of saying that it's boring, that it's slow and boring. Um, yeah, I guess that's what you could say if that's what you want to call adult Star Wars. They're saying that well, one of the articles in particular kind of went into a little deeper, saying you don't really get a lot of everyday life of the average, person in the living in the empire or living in this universe, right? Like, you know, eating cereal with blue milk, like Cyril, what's his name? Cyril Karn is doing there in his mom's place, or, picking their nose or something like that. So I'm proposing the next adult Star Wars, series be Wookiee Barbershop, where it's all about Wookiees coming in to go and get their hairs trimmed, and they show it in real time. So you get a chance to really feel how long it actually takes to go into that prep of getting their hair trimmed. Some come in with just a blow and a cut, but others have to go to the full gamut, and they have to get rid of some mats and whatnot, and that could be a big pricey proposition. Yeah. Anyway, like I'm saying, this needs to move along a little better than it has been. I will say this much with Dan Gilroy writing this rather than Tony Gilroy. It's better writing, first of all, yes. But at the same time, it's still boring. Um, yeah, because we're supposed to be developing a heist. I understand you're trying to create ambiance, and in that ambiance, you could be doing some character development. You really could be doing some character development, and they're not doing any character development really. They are kind of introducing us to the characters, but still aren't doing character development. This is um pretentious is really the word for it. It's pretentious writing, it's pretentious directing, it's pretentious theater is really what it is. You need to cut out a lot of things in this in order to make it move along a bit quicker and get to the point of your story. So this really did not need to be 13 episodes of a season. You could have really brought this down to 6 episodes fairly quickly and still gotten away with it. Also, I want to say, without the focus on Andor, the series is actually better. Andor is just a bland character. He really is. And again, I've said it before, he's a poor man's knockoff of Han Solo. So when these last 2 episodes haven't been focused on him, it seems like it's better. It really isn't, because it's just, again, just wheel spinning, real slow wheel spinning is what's going on here. So, and I understand there's going to be people out there that love this kind of stuff. They love this kind of really slow burn kind of, stuff with no real context to it. Um, but I actually want to see some story. I would rather see some character definition out of this, and we really don't. And don't tell me that Skeen saying that, oh, my brother died. The short story of it is my brother died. That's why I hate the Empire. That's not character development. That's just he told a story. So yeah, that's again not character development. With that said, let's delve into this episode just a little bit. Andor's group, of course, is doing dry runs for their heist that they're going to do during the night of the Eye when it happens. Blissfully, this is short lived. We only get little bits and pieces of them. We don't get a montage of them training, which is great. We see Lieutenant Gorn basically going through and setting stuff up within the garrison itself, being a hard ass. But then when the men, he's being a hard ass specifically so that the men will ask him for leniency, so that when he tells them, okay, yeah, you can go out and take a look at the eye and leave a minimal support in where all the money is, it doesn't look like it's his idea, it's someone else's idea. So nice little try on that. Also, if you were catching some of the names of the planets that they were mentioning in this, especially during Deidre Mevo, when she's in there with her assistant, and they're kind of going through their different folders, as they said. And one of the planets that they bring up is Batu, which is the planet that's at Galaxy's Edge, Disneyland. They had to work that in, as one of the planets. That's one of your Easter eggs. Also, if we go back and take a look at, and again, this is mostly Easter eggs, is really what this episode is. There's really not a lot of plot movement on this. This is just Easter eggs, is really what this is. So Luthen is still sitting in Coruscant in his, his shop. And if you take a look at the thumbnail for this, there's actually a Jedi cube that's over the back of his head there. It's actually circled in the in the thumbnail, and there's also a Sith holocron that's right there as well. So that's what I have. That's what I'm pointing at right here. Behind me, I have a Sith holocron that I bought from Disneyland as well. And so there's one of these sitting behind him, but like really big. And then there's a big Jedi cube as well. Jedi cube holocron. And what those are you put in there's supposed to be recordings from different Jedi or Sith masters. You put them in, and they teach you using the Force. You open those up. It's supposed to be used by Force wielders, so they can learn lessons from past masters using those holocrons. Again, go take a look at Star Wars Rebels. And I also want to say that it was in Clone Wars as well. So they're in both of those. And you have Dave Filoni to thank for those. So yeah, pop those in. They're actually good little reference point there. Mon Mothma, by the way, is she's feeling tension at home with her husband Perrin, and of course her daughter Lita. Her daughter Lita is just about as big of a toady as Perrin is, so she most likely is just going to leave them there. Cyril Karn is, living at home with his mom, and his mom is, just nagging at him constantly about, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? And then, she decides to call in the family favor for Uncle Harlow. And Uncle Harlow, we don't know who he is, but he's going to think about where Cyril could fit in best in the Empire there. So that's where we have all this stuff moving along. And we end the episode pretty much with our rebel group, setting up over the top of the garrison and getting ready to do their heist in the next morning. So that's where we leave off. Again, not a great episode. It's just set up, it's spinning of wheels. It's the same thing that happened last episode as well. And again, both of these episodes could have been truncated down to about, I don't know, 15 minutes apiece. So you could have had half an hour of that, and then, easily that would have been one episode right there. But we're not going to get that. So, and also, yeah, we have Lieutenant Blevin, who is now on Ferrex, and he is taking over that, and Morlana as well. So they are, the Empire has moved out there, and he's setting up shop. And of course, Mevo wants to still thinks there's a plot by the rebels that they're spreading things out. Again, like I said, this is very milk toast is really what this is. It's it's great if you were doing a movie and you wanted to show a little tiny piece of this in there in your heist movie. But when you have 42 minutes is what this runtime was on this episode, and the previous one was 43 minutes, if I remember correctly. Uh that's an hour, that's 90 minutes right there. You're looking at about 90 minutes of really no character development, really no plot movement. You're just sitting there. And yeah, yeah. I want to like this show. I really do want to like this. I mean, it's Star Wars, it's in the Star Wars universe, but this is just bland. It really is. Sirius says, fun fact, Mon Mothma is actually the grandson of Sebulba from episode one. Oh, okay. Uh, not really, but they isn't Sebulba the yeah. Anyway, yeah, this was not the best of episodes. It really wasn't. I take that back. The writing was good, just because it was better than the first 3 episodes. So it looks like what they're doing is they're taking 3 episode blocks and everyone's having a turn at it. So Tony did the first three, Dan's doing the next three, and they're all directed by the same people because Tony, I believe, directed the first three as well. And I forget the name of the woman who directed these 3 blocks here. I can tell you, Susanna White. Yeah. So there you have it. Yeah. And again, this was again something that really did not need to be made. It really did not need to be made. Um, yeah. The whole thing with Skeen talking about his brother and being a farmer and what did he farm? Trees, mainly pepper trees. And I was like, are you going to go into how many trees? Corn peppers, sweet pepper, and like, I was having a Forrest Gump moment there for a second. I thought he was going to go and start naming off all the different kind of pepper trees that were out there, because that's just kind of what I'm expecting now from this series. Yeah. Um, that's what I thought you were talking about, the Pod Racer series, Sebulba. That's why I started. Yeah, I kind of caught myself finally. Sirius is not sure I even saw this episode. You probably would have forgotten about it, Sirius, if you did. So it's kind of forgettable. Hopefully, we have a heist next week, and maybe Daredevil will show up next week as well. I'm sorry, I had to troll people on that one because people are waiting for Daredevil and the She-Hulk thing, which is just making me fucking laugh. It really is. It's called the She-Hulk. It's called She-Hulk. That's the reason. No, never mind. Anyway, so seriously, I'm trying to watch but kind of zoned out. Same with Rings of Power. I understand. Yeah, Rings of Power. They try to cram a lot into the last episode. Serious, I agree. They actually tried to ramp things up a bit more, but it's too little, too late at this point. I'm fairly sure we're gonna get 5 minutes of like really kind of frantic kinetic energy going on in episode 6 of Andor next week, and then we're gonna get a lot of wheel spinning again. So I mean, the whole thing with that kind of made me laugh when Luthen is listening to the radio in the shop, and his assistant is saying either they do or they don't. Either this time tomorrow they either will have succeeded or haven't succeeded. And then he says something like, "And if they do, then everything starts all over again," or something like that. And I was thinking that's pretty much what this series is. Either this series succeeds or it fails. And yeah, yeah. The Rings of Power is not over with yet. No, I think we have 2 more episodes for that. But yeah, yeah. Yeah, you haven't seen it. He's only in it. I mean, literally, Luthen's only in it for like maybe a minute and a half, something like that. Yeah. It was a blink and you miss it scene, serious. If you might have gotten up and gone to the bathroom or something like that, or maybe passed out on the couch for a second, and that could have happened too. God knows I've almost had that happen during this season, this series. Anyway, on to what else I'm doing for the rest of this week. What else do I have going on? Well, tomorrow is going to be She-Hulk, something good for a change. She-Hulk is going to be on next tomorrow. I might be late with that one. In fact, I am going to be late with that one. Google is actually doing their announcement tomorrow, their pre-order announcements and all that kind of stuff. And I've been invited to that. Well, I should say I got a basically an electronic pass to go in. So I'm going to go and take a look at it. That starts at 5, my time tomorrow. So I might be a little bit late for She-Hulk tomorrow. Friday is going to be the Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power. Saturday, I'm going to be off. Sunday is going to be the Sunday edition of the Saturday Morning Blast Off, where I take the genre news of the week and any genre stuff you guys want to talk about. We talk about it. Monday will be House of the Dragon. Tuesday will be Is It Worth My Time? And that will be Werewolf by Night. I finally realized what it was that I'm actually going to be doing for next week. That'll be Marvel's Werewolf by Night, which premieres this Friday, as a matter of fact. So I'll be covering that on Tuesday since it's a one-off Marvel. And then, of course, we roll back around to Wednesday with Andor, and we'll see if we're going to be putting the wheels on the railroad or something like that before we get to an actual heist. Yeah. You never heard of Werewolf by Night? It's black and white. It looks noirish, kind of like Universal. And again, if you go over to suspendedfanimation.com, I have a schedule up there. And I also, underneath my schedule, I have all the future stuff that's coming up. And yeah. And also, if you go over to my Facebook page, I usually post the trailers for this kind of stuff too. So I know I posted the trailer for Werewolf by Night. Werewolf by Night looks just it's up my alley. It's going to be cheesy. It's like Universal Pictures, Hammer Pictures. They're doing an homage to all that kind of stuff. And it's also Werewolf by Night, which is a great 70s comic, Marvel comic, by the way, too. Yeah, the black and white Popeyes are awesome. The ones that Fleischer did, uh, the Fleischers, I should say. There is a great, I think there's a documentary out there about how they did their backgrounds for the old Popeye cartoons, and they actually had a carousel with real pictures behind it, so it always looked like it was moving. It's great. Yeah. So with that said, I'm gonna let you guys go for the rest of the night. Thank you to Sirius who joined me tonight in the chat, and there's a lurker out there too. I see them. And thank you if you made it this far in the video. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the video that pops up at the very end here. YouTube takes the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching and tries to match it as best as possible. It's one of the videos in my fast video library and pops up here just for you. And if you like what you see there, if you can, hit that like button or the subscribe button right down there. And if you can, hit that like button, the share button as well. And if you want to know when I'm going to be on live again next, go over to suspendedfanimation.com. Take a look at the schedule. I have it up change it out every week, I should say. Have all the links to my social media there and all the links to my pages, like my Facebook page and the Facebook group page where you guys can post stuff and chat amongst yourselves. For those of you who have Facebook, there's also Twitter on there and all kinds of stuff too. Thank you, everyone. I will see you again tomorrow for She-Hulk. Until then, don't let the don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, you may be waiting for that heist for a really, 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 really long time. And I gotta wonder, did anyone else not, in the garrison not see someone standing on the hill waving a big fucking torch in the air? Was the Lieutenant Gorn the only one that was outside of the garrison that night? That seems kind of suspicious for an Empire garrison, but far be it for me to question logic on that one. So All right. Thanks, everybody. I will see you again for She-Hulk tomorrow. That's when I'll see you then. Until then, have a good rest of your night. Stay safe, be well, take care, wear those masks, get those vaccine shots, get the boosters as well. They don't work without the boosters. And I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good rest of your night. Thanks, everyone. Good night.